Hi guys, welcome once again to my channel. This is Arius Sews. Here's my inspiration for today. It's a V-neckline bubu dress for a child, a 3-year-old. The neck is also referred to as a scrub neckline, and this is what it looks like. So if you're interested in this, please watch till the end. Okay, so even though this tutorial is for a 3-year-old, it's the same process for an adult. So if you want to learn how to make a V-neckline bubu, even for an adult, the video is also good for you. So I'm using like a yard with about quarter for this outfit. The first thing I did was to fold it into 4 like so. And here's the fabric I'm going to be mixing with it. It's going to be on the neck and also around the sleeve. So let's get started. So I marked my start line, and from that start line I measured the length that I wanted and added 1 inch seam allowance to that to turn it at the hem. The next thing I did was to measure out the neck line. So for the back, I measured 2.5 inches for the neck width and 1 inch for the neck depth. Now for the front, I measured 5.5 inches for the neck depth. On that point where I marked the 5.5, I measured 0.75 inch out. Just watch as I'm doing that, and from that point I connected it to the 2.5 inch neck width at the top, just like so. So after I was done doing this, I proceeded to measure the sleeve, bearing in mind that I'm adding 2 inches with the plain fabric. So I just measured the sleeve minus 2 inches and I added 0.5 inch allowance to it, which I'll use to join to the plain fabric. So now that I have that, for the armhole depth, I measured 8.5 inches like so, and I marked it. I just repeated the same measurement I had up there. I just also marked it down here, and then I connected it with a straight line like so. So the next thing I did was I measured the chest measurement, the round chest, plus 2.5 divided by 4 plus 2.5 inches. Then I connected it like this from the armhole side, just like that. Then I took that same measurement and also marked it at the base. Then I added 2.5 inch for the A shape. So when I did that, I went ahead to connect it all the way to the top like so. Then I used a curve to blend that armhole side in, just so that it gives me a nice shape there. When I was done doing that, I added 0.5 inch to the shoulder side for seam allowance. So now the drafting is done and it's time to cut. Kindly note that you cut out the neck for the back first. Please don't mistakenly cut out the neck for the front. So I'm just going to cut across the lines as I'm showing, like this. At the hem, I'm going to go up by 1 inch, just as I'm showing. I'll mark down 1 inch and I'm just going to slant it into the hem line, and I'm going to just give it a nice shape like that. I'm just going to cut it out. Here I've removed the back and I'm just going to fold it properly like this and cut out the neck for the front like so. So the front is going to have the carry the design from the plain fabric, but the back is not going to carry that. So because of that, I will fold it back like this and measure 1 inch. I'm using 2 inches for the design, so I'll measure 1 inch and connect that 1 inch back to the 0.7, just like I'm showing with my finger, and I'm going to slant that in and cut it out. So here I've cut it out and I've opened it up, and this is the design. I've cut out 4 inches fabric, a 4 inches fabric, and folded it into 2, so I have 2 inches on both sides. So I'm going to, by the time I sew in 0.5, it's going to give me 1.5. So I just went ahead to mark out 0.5 inch after where the neck stops, just like so, and I pinned down this design on both sides. I pinned the 2 down. It's like a placket anyway, so I pinned it down and went ahead to run a stitch, and this, I made sure that the stitch stopped on that 0.5 that I marked after where the neckline stopped. So here I've stitched it and I'm going to notch it. I'm going to notch it just the way I'm using this chalk to indicate. It's just going to be like a triangle shape, just like that. It's just going to go meet where the stitch ends exactly. After notching, I just turned it in. I turned it from the front to the back, and automatically that point where we notched folded inside. Just look at it. I'm going to turn it to the front and to the back so that you see what it looks like. So you can see what the back looks like, and the part that was notched is already folded, and that's it there. So please just pin the 3 together, the 2 plackets and that small part. Just pin it together and run a straight stitch. Pinning it helps it to stay secure and stay in place. This is what it looks like when I was done. So after this, I just went ahead to cut off the excess from both the back and the shoulder parts of it. I just cut off the excess. This is just a piece of fabric about 1 inch wide. I'm just going to join it together to make loops for the sides and to make the long group to tie it for a cinched waist. So when you open it up, this is what it should look like. For the back, I've already used a bias to turn the neck, and so I'm just going to place the shoulder on the shoulder, right side facing the right side. So once that has been stitched down, the next thing is to measure the width of the sleeve, how wide the sleeve is, and that's what I'm going to use to cut out the design for the sleeve. That's plain blue fabric. Now for the loops, where the loops are going to be, I'm just going to measure the waistline and mark that. So I'm going to, from that first point, I'm going to leave like 1.5 inch between each of the loops, where the loops will be. I used 9 inches for the waistline, and I'm going to be making 3 loops on both sides. And I went ahead to mark it also on the other side. So here my rope was done, and I'm trying to just cut out the loops. So I measured 2 inches of the rope, and that's what I'm going to be using for the loop. So I'm going to cut 2 inches. I'm going to cut 6 pieces of 2 inches, and that's what I'm going to fold and use for the loops at the sides. So here I'm just trying to pin the loops to the sides before I place the fabric on it. I'm just leaving like an ½ inch before pinning the loops, just so that by the time I join ½ inch of the loops, it's going to give me my 1 inch seam allowance. So you can just pin it down, and if you can work with it without pinning it down, since it's already marked, just make sure that you do it carefully and make sure that it aligns on both sides. Now the 4 inches plain fabric that I cut for the sleeves, and I folded into 2, so I'm just going to place it like so on both sides. and join it together with 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm going to repeat the same thing to the other side. So when I'm done with fixing this plain fabric to the sleeve, I'm just going to fold. I'm going to turn the bubu just like so, right side facing right side, and I'm going to run a 1-inch stitch all the way from the sleeve down to the hem of the bubu. Here I'm just trimming off the excesses at the sleeve area, and after doing that I turned it back to the right side, and this is what it looks like. See the loops at the side. So if you found this video helpful so far, please encourage me by subscribing, like this video please, and share. Thank you. Next thing after that was to turn the hem by the 1-inch allowance that I added earlier. So I turned the hem just like so and went ahead to give this outfit a very good press. Then this is me just fixing the rope in the loops, and it turned out so beautiful. I hope you guys found this tutorial very helpful, and I hope you'll be able to recreate something like this. Let me know in the comments if you found this helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.